Welcome to the Unmistakably Magic Podcast. I'm RJ.
And I'm Cort.
We are two lifelong fans of Disney parks and all theme parks.
Each week, we bring you the latest news from Disney parks and beyond.
Plus, this week, we're going to be talking with our buddy Wade about
PhotoPass.
Disney PhotoPass.
Memory Maker.
The
Memory
PhotoPass.
Maker. Is it Memory Maker or PhotoPass?
It's Memory Maker at Disney World.
Yeah.
PhotoPass at Disneyland.
But they still call themselves PhotoPass, like
Photographers or whatever.
Yeah. So we're not going to bring you any news this week. We're pre-recording this.
And we're not going to tell you the episode number because
we're pre-recording
this and we won't use it right away. So
Mysteries from beyond. But yeah, I mean, Wade's back. We're going to jump right in.
We're going to talk about it, see if it's worth it or not.
Let's find out.
That was less jumpy. I was ready for the news music. That was weird. It threw me off.
All the time, you're like, oh, man.
I was like ready to bop along. Well, welcome back. Yeah, we're talking about PhotoPass, Memory Maker, whatever you want to call it.
So you've used it.
I've used it. I mean, it was now 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
But I mean, most, other than price and a few other things that stuck around.
They've kind of added some since then, too.
If anything, I mean, price gone up a little bit, but in comparison to some of the stuff they've added, like all the onboard ride video, I'm pretty
even more on-ride photo, because they added it to Pirates recently, too.
Well, and I don't even think the on-ride photos were included in it at that point when we had it.
Oh, it was just if you went to a PhotoPass photographer and said, hey, take my picture.
Yeah.
But now they are.
Yeah.
They are included. And even over at Disneyland with Max Pass, you can get it for $10.
Okay, so before we get into it, before you use PhotoPass, what was your level of picture taking prior to using it?
My level of
or any,
picture
like
taking,
your party, like your wife, or
my level of picture taking would be nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, a little bit here and there. Wife, somewhat. If we were going with her family, her mom likes to take a good amount of pictures, but her mom isn't huge on riding a ton of rides either, so she's happy a lot of times, especially thrill stuff. So she's happy to go do some picture stuff while we're on a ride or in line or whatever. But the caveat to that for that trip was the trip we got engaged.
Oh.
And so that was, we knew, I knew we'd be taking more pictures than,
normal.
Normal. Because her family knew too. And so that was part of it was, and we did at that point they had a few different levels of what you could do. And we basically did I think it was $120 for a disc that had all the photos on it.
Yeah, I think they've gone mostly digital now, and it's a one price.
Yeah.
Unless you book it while you're there.
Yeah.
Then it's higher, but.
So I don't know, like, are there certain other questions you have, or we just want back and forth?
Let's just jump. I was just kind of wondering, like, to establish kind of a baseline. Like, were you one that was like, you're going to take a picture in front of every monument or every attraction with your group? Because I feel like in my mind, to utilize it the most, you kind of need to be that type. But maybe there's also the benefit of you would gain that.
So that's where I may say is I think we did gain that.
Did you?
Is that and I mean, it was a 10-day trip, probably somewhere in there, and it was kind of the same thing, catch-22 of I would prefer to just be go ride, but we'd come to a PhotoPass person, it's like, we know we've already paid the money,
might as well use it.
Okay. It was right around when they started to do all the cool like magic stuff where
they're like, put out your hand
and you're
then
holding
like,
Tinkerbell or something like that. I remember one of our favorites is it's like stitches popping up through the ground in front of Hollywood Tower of Terror.
Oh, cool.
Right there on that street in World. So that was the other piece is while sometimes we'd be stopping and be like, oh man, I want to get to, whatever ride it was. It also made you kind of live in that moment a little bit more too.
And that's what I'm wondering. And the thing I always struggle with is like, I love doing the photography. I get some really good ones of my family, but very rarely am I in them.
Yeah.
And I found that even if I hand my camera to a PhotoPass person, it's hit or miss. I try to like put it in the most automatic mode as possible, and it still is like, yeah, could have been better. And some of that's my standards, and some of that's just my camera's not super easy to use. So I'm considering it. So I'm trying to figure out kind of what use it is. I don't know.
What more benefit it
would give me.
From it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the first thing you think about is also apart from what can't you get without your own camera, right? And so you start thinking about the on-ride video, on-ride pictures, which that's a pretty big deal. When they added the on-ride video when we were there, that was something all of a sudden that was like, oh, we wish we could have some of these videos because there were some really good ones.
And that's what and even on the on-ride photos, like I'm the guy who's like standing there at the end of the line going like, oh, there we are, like trying to get a good one of us. Because we usually do something funny or whatever too. Yeah. So how much was it when you did it?
I think it was like 120.
Okay, all right.
And so like I said, I think we were there for 10 days probably. We probably had like a 10-day pass.
It's like 165 right now, I believe.
I think it's 169.
169 or
165
around there.
And then I think it's 199, 195 or whatever if you do it while you're there and it doesn't kick in till the next day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that the thing that was, I know that you have family coming out.
Yeah.
So that's the other piece that I think is nice too, is then you're not playing the game of that, especially if your family's out there with you all, that you all get to take the pictures together. And once again, you're not worrying
That's what I'm wondering.
Someone else taking it. You're not worried about you having to jump in and out and stuff like that. And just the piece also that I think there's something with the PhotoPass of when it makes you take those pictures you wouldn't have even thought to take.
And I think that's where I've noticed is like I'm not looking for them, but I wonder if we buy it, would I be looking for them going, hey, let's go over there and grab a pic, because half the time if they're not with a bunch of people, they're probably going to just take your picture and you're done.
Yeah.
So it's not going to waste that much time, but do you think the onboard ride, you do think the onboard on-ride video and photos make it
like if you
definitely add value to it?
Yeah, like if you would have told me, whatever it was 7 years ago that, hey, you can add, if the price is $165 or you can add it for $45 or whatever to, get onboard riding and video, I would have absolutely done it.
You would have paid that difference?
Absolutely.
Okay.
What attractions have onboard video?
I know that Mine Train does. Okay. And I'm trying to remember. I can't remember all of them that do.
Yeah.
But just that one sticks out in my mind. I remember having it.
Yeah, they've been adding it to a few now.
Huh. I didn't think Disney put onboard video on it.
No, they definitely did it on Mine Train. It was a first because I think because it was such a new attraction.
Yeah.
And it was about the same time they were unrolling PhotoPass as a whole, or Memory Maker as a whole, and Magic Bands and the whole. Because that's the whole thing, is it has to know you're on the cart.
Yeah.
To
connect it to you.
After ride photo, you can go, oh, that's ours, boop, and get it.
Yeah.
On board, you got to know who's on that cart or whatever.
Okay.
So I can't remember. I don't remember all the rides that have it. I just remember specifically Mine Train being one. Partially also just because, and same thing, like, right, it's going to catch those moments that you can't catch.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law riding that ride and it definitely being on, for her, even the upscale of thrills that she was. And so just the video of her that everyone died, how freaked out she was on that ride.
That would be fun, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, once again, although at the same time I might be blinded by the fact that we used a lot of them for our engagement pictures also too, right?
Yeah.
So that probably, in my mind, maybe bumps up the value it had for us.
Yeah.
Especially the first night we were there, we went into the park after we got engaged in the Magic Kingdom for like 2 hours, and it was dead. And so we got some really cool ones in front of the castle, and
that's cool.
In a few different places.
Because I know that, do they do it at character meals too? Because we're doing a couple of those.
They do.
And I think, like, I know in the past, like Spirit of Aloha, they've included the photo, but it might be nice having a digital copy.
Yeah.
Because I think like Cinderella's Castle is another one where we ate, I think it's up here even. We ate dinner and then
we both looked up.
I think it's up there. Or no, Tusker House is up there. There's Tusker House up there.
Yeah, Tusker House is up there.
I think my parents have the one of us at Cinderella's table.
I think they do.
Yeah. Because it's nice having those too. I mean, I guess my only thing is like, am I going to be utilizing it enough? Because I previously do a decent job of getting enough photos on my own.
A lot of pictures.
Yeah, of
on your own
of the park
and
as a
of
park
yours.
and of my
Yeah.
family and whoever else. But I don't know.
I guess I just think, right, I think, what are you there for, 8 days? 6-7 days in the park?
I think it's 8 days in the park.
8 days in the
total.
park, yeah. So, I mean, $20 a day to not have to
that's
pull out
true.
your
That's a good
camera all
way
the
to think.
time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things, right? I mean, I know it's not exactly connected to what we talk about with MaxPass right now.
Yeah.
That everyone's pointing out that the $10 alone, I was reading a Twitter chain of all these annual pass holders that were, before they even knew that they might be able to add it for cheaper than $10 a day, and they were telling other annual pass holders to boycott buying MaxPass. But then a lot of annual pass holders came in who have like the lowest standard one. They're like, if I can go for 2 days though and have PhotoPass, they're like, that's worth paying it two times or whatever anyways, especially if I have family in town or something like that. And so that's the thing. I think we will get it again once we go now with, our own kid or kids.
That definitely, to me, also makes a difference because they do a better job of getting like your kids' attention.
Yeah.
They do and the two, like we have a fast pass one day for the character spot at Epcot. So an actual attraction of character meet and greet with a Disney PhotoPass photographer there. They do a really good job of taking your camera. That is one thing I'll give Disney credit for, is even if I didn't do this, I know I can hand my camera to any employee and have it work. I mean, they may not be able to work my camera, but they will try,
Yeah.
They're not going to go, oh, sorry, you need to pay for the pictures if you want them, whatever.
Yeah. And I know, obviously, for you all when you're going with the dining and stuff like that being cheaper, free, whatever you ended up getting, that obviously the point is going that time to get a better deal, but it's the same time,
my wife brought up a good point too. She was like, that's like 2 tickets to Mickey's Not So Scary. Like, and we've kind of been going back and forth on that as a possibility too. So maybe, because you talked about that with us previously, what do you think about that? Like, would you trade one or the other?
That's a tough, because I mean, as you know, we're going back to Mickey's Halloween party at Disneyland again this year. I haven't been to a ton of, special event ticket things, but that's one thing that we're trying to do every other year or so. Once again, though, I'm not the one that is, let's take a lot of pictures all the time.
Yeah.
That would maybe change with, as my kid gets older.
Yeah.
Wanting to have that option.
That is true. Yeah.
Especially also the other piece, like you said, of that they do, or Cort mentioned, they do a good job, maybe better job of getting your kids to take pictures. I mean, it's anything else, right?
Yeah.
Your kids are more likely going to listen to them saying it than you, because you've been telling them to stand still.
Yeah, I'm saying say cheese, say cheese, say cheese all day. Yeah, and then that gets old. Yeah.
And the magic, like pictures that they can take and add stuff in. I mean, that's going to be stuff that your kids, I think, would want for themselves.
True.
A picture of, whether it's holding whether it's Tinkerbell or one of the other fairies, or like I talked about the one we have that Stitch is popping out of the ground. We actually got that one printed because we thought that one was so cool. Yeah.
Did you notice a decrease in picture taking that you would have otherwise done because you had this pass, or did you feel like it was about the same because you're still whipping it out to like take a picture of the castle or whatever? You're not going to ask like a Disney PhotoPass photographer to do.
I don't think it made us feel like we shouldn't or didn't want to.
Okay.
I think we still took some of those same ones that it's like, well, no one's standing around here. They're not everywhere, right?
Yeah, no, they're in like the key spots, yeah.
But it was that piece, especially, when we were there for the special time with family, that it was worth being able to make sure no one else has to hold the camera, no one else has to figure out how to use our camera. We talked about, the piece that as camera phones are getting better, that's not as per se a big deal either.
We were even saying how I'm potentially looking to trade in my phone before the trip a little early, just to kind of have the latest and greatest and have the better phone and the better camera. And I don't know. It's definitely something to think about. Did you print many of them?
We printed
afterwards.
I'd say so. I think in that trip we ended up with It was either 6 or 900.
Did you print through Disney?
No.
Wow, that's a lot, actually.
No, because
you just said that.
Ton of photos.
Yeah.
That's like as many as I usually get, and I'm pretty
You're
shut
snapping
around.
all the
Yeah.
time.
And they, no, because they gave us the disc,
Okay.
which gave us the rights. And at that point, I actually worked at Target in the photo lab.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, I was at the photo lab at least 5 days a week already. So it wasn't that hard for me to print them out.
Nice.
But yeah, I'd say we've printed out, so like I said, especially since we did them as engagement pictures. I mean, then if you also count that we use that for like save the dates and stuff like that.
See, and that's really nice. I'm trying to decide if our pregnancy is enough to like use that service and make, like, we've already announced it, so it'd be more like
Gender reveal stuff.
Maybe,
or
yeah,
name
like,
reveal.
could be, yeah.
We
don't
talked
know.
about
Timon
Christmas
and Pumbaa.
sweaters.
Yeah, but do our Christmas photo.
We talked about Christmas photos.
Yeah. So they gave you a CD because I think now it's all digital.
It is-
if I
it
was
is
reading up,
purely
which
digital
makes
now.
sense. I mean, it's
It's
2017. Yeah, it's the same thing. And in fact, where am I going to put it? I'm more than likely going to put it online. Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, but maybe print them for the grandparents or something.
The old people.
Although we've been doing a service called Groove Book. I think
Yeah.
I've talked about it before. It's $3 a month,
Yeah.
and it's a book of 100 photos, up to 100 photos, at least 40 every month. And I fill it every month. I mean, it's kind of fun to.
And you give that to the grandparents.
We've canceled theirs since because they were like
super
quality
hyped
or-
about it.
yeah, they were
Wow.
like, because by the end of the month you're like, yeah, make 2 of those. You're like, put that one in. You get like about 40 really good ones, and then by the end of the month you're like, yeah, that one works.
We hear back right now from her grandpa, so Mason's great grandpa.
Yeah.
Like, every time we see him and they all live in town. New pictures for me?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
and you can't just show them on the phone. They're like, okay, cool,
no,
but they want copies.
He wants physical copies. He like has a little shrine. It's pretty funny actually.
Which is nice. I mean, that's my only other temptation is then, like, having the digital copies, being able to send them the ones that are not here, or even print them at their local Walmart or whatever, and have them go pick them up. The cost to me is the hard part.
It's $20 a day.
That is a good way to put
I
it.
think
I'm glad you put
$20
it that way. That puts it more in perspective for me.
Yeah.
Is it worth $20 a day for me not to have to worry about having my camera out,
Yeah.
All the time.
trying to catch those moments as much as like, hey, let's.
Asking someone else to handle it because, I mean,
Yeah,
it happens. It happens to someone.
it's true.
That a
yeah.
cast member drops a camera and,
Yeah.
obviously knock on wood.
Yeah.
but-
And I still might handle my camera and grab
yeah.
theirs, but it's
Yeah.
like I don't know. And doing character meet and greets, a couple character meals. I don't
It
know.
makes sense
It does,
if you're doing character meet and greets like every day,
which
which you're probably going to do.
probably
doing
gonna
a lot.
because you run into them a lot. I mean, you go back in England in Epcot, and there's Alice or there's Winnie the Pooh or
Well, and
Yeah.
we even looked at, right, I mean, you have character spot as 1, if not 2 fast passes different days.
yeah, mostly because it was like an easy fast pass to kill to
Yeah.
get a better one, but because of the tiered system. But that's another discussion.
It's annoying. It's what it is.
Yeah. So you came home with 600, do you think?
I think, 900
Wow.
sounds pretty high now.
But it was 600.
But yeah,
which
I mean,
is
because you think about,
all the rides, because they're adding it to even more rides.
and, it's not like you get to the PhotoPass spot and they take 1.
No, yeah.
They take 4, 5, 6.
They take 4 or 5. They maybe take one of the magic ones or whatever, too.
Yeah. And I mean, of those 600, there's probably 200 different locations because it'd be like, vertical or horizontal.
Yeah.
A magic, maybe zoomed in a little more, zoomed out.
Cool.
Do
Do they watermark them at all? Or does it say Disney World on it or anything?
You can, so when they did it on that, they weren't. I mean, it was the same thing as the disc.
Yeah.
But what they actually had on the disc, and I don't know how they do this now, is there was all types of other. I don't know enough
Like
Photoshop
files
stuff.
that you could
like files you could overlay on them,
like
and stuff
frames
like that too.
almost,
Yeah,
or- okay.
frames for them. So
Okay.
the ones that were in Epcot, we could put like an Epcot frame on. The ones that
And
were
you can-
in
I guess I want it, but
You
I
do
also
that-
don't want it on a lot of them. Like I want it occasionally, maybe to print it or whatever, something fun, but I don't want it like on all of them. I guess would be my.
You can add that stuff later on digitally online when they do it, when they give it to you that way.
And that's why I'm thinking we maybe did get to like 600 in the end. Is
yeah,
when we started adding stuff like that, and you can filter them. Oh, I also want this one black and white. I want this one.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think what happened is how they did at that point is they added it digitally to a file, and then you actually selected which ones you wanted or updated them, and then they sent you the disc or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I know we ended up with a physical disc in the end.
I think I remember when
I
think when they first did it, they were definitely sending a disc out, and I think you had like 30 days to go in online, review them, and like you said, say, oh, add a frame to this, or do this, or crop that, or whatever. And
before they upcharged you on them, or what?
Before the files went
away. I think before the files went away.
I think wiped them from their server.
Which, of course,
FastPass has always been that way. FastPass has always been that way. Maybe Memory Maker, this program is different. But if you traditionally just went to and you got your little card and you had them scan your barcode, I think you had 30 or 60 days to either download or purchase the photos that you took while on your trip.
Because you were saying FastPass. PhotoPass?
PhotoPass.
Yeah.
Am I saying FastPass?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
I know it's
PhotoPass.
Late or early, whatever you want to call it right now.
And I know you guys aren't doing it, but for us it was cool too because they have the photo passes at the water parks, and so that was times too. Nice. We got pictures. That's actually one of our
because that's one of those areas where you more than likely I have a camera, or I have my GoPro, which is not the most ideal, portrait camera or whatever. So
no, because that's one of our favorite Disney stories. Is we were in the lazy river with these two African American guys who obviously we weren't related, and every time we went by the PhotoPass, they'd be like, "Oh, this is our family," and they'd want to get in the hugs, and so we've got this pretty sweet picture of
these two dudes,
of these obviously pretty 6'7", very white Coloradans with these two, as they said they were our brothers.
That's awesome. I'm gonna do that if I get the pass. I'm just gonna pull extra people. Like, oh, can we take some more with our cousins over here and have them like come on. That'd be hilarious.
But I've always been curious though. How well do they do with like not getting people in the background?
Pretty good because they use. Because that's the thing that's interesting to me is, I think they're trained specifically, and we talked about this on one of the other episodes I was on. They're trained very specifically on the camera that they have to do 4 or 5 things.
Yes.
But I think they do them pretty well.
Yeah, so they're set in a mode that's very like they are not allowed to shoot like I would shoot my camera.
They're pretty narrow. But because I'm always walking by like PhotoPass photographers whenever I'm in the parks. Yeah. And like they're taking pictures of people, and I'm looking like directly into the camera. So it makes me wonder, one, how many of other people's pictures am I in the background of? Like,
I don't think you'd be able
ridiculous.
to tell.
I think you'd probably be out of focus.
We have one, and I can't remember if we used it on a save the date or if we just printed it. That my wife and I, they had us like kiss and made a joke to the whole family who are kind of in like a semicircle around us, like close your eyes, and so they all have their eyes closed and like we're kissing in front of the castle.
We're family friendly.
And I'm sorry.
Gross.
I was about to say something funny, but then and we actually got this picture done in a like one of those vinyl things where it's like painted right and it's like wall art
and it's like wrapped.
And and it's wrapped, and I think about it and sitting there in our living room, I don't notice a single other person in it. Like I'm sure if I really thought about it, I'm sure there's blurred images. Well, there's blurred images, but it's enough that you definitely don't even think about it or notice it.
All right. So I've always been curious of like how well they do with that.
The thing I'm curious about, and you probably don't know right now, and who knows, is how quickly they get them onto the web. Like, am I going to be able to get back that night and be boop, like, oh, that was cool.
You can look on them
and download them like one for a day or whatever.
You can look at them in the app. I believe it's like 20 minutes after they take the picture or something like that.
I know back then
maximum.
I know back then we could look at night. They were up by the night.
That's cool to me.
I think there was a couple times where there's probably some glitch in the system, but there were definitely times we went back that night and looked at them.
Because that's cool to me, because I kind of like going back and looking at them and then like maybe picking one and like put it up on social media, like, hey, we had a great day, day 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know they're really quick.
I think they use Wi-Fi, I want to say.
Yeah, they do.
And then they also keep the cards, and then if obviously there's a glitch or something in the Wi-Fi,
you have the cards.
They have the cards to download later. And I know there's somebody sitting there like making sure they go through and nobody's flipping off the camera in the background or anything.
Yeah.
Which is actually a really good YouTube channel. I can't remember his name, and he was a fat.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that same guy because he
had a whole video where he was describing like the different, because like one of the things they're taught is to like crop out logos.
Yep.
And like one of the ones that he talked about was Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah, they couldn't
apparently
take
every time they take
a
if they take a picture of the word Aerosmith, they have to pay Aerosmith. So the photographers were told to like put people's heads in front of it or move people or whatever to make sure you couldn't read Aerosmith. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And the same thing with the logos on shirts. He's like, if somebody's gotten hit something inappropriate, you're like, oh, put the kid in front of you, or like, why doesn't he hold the kids?
Get a little creative. I forget the dude's name.
Yeah.
It's a good YouTube channel because he used to work at a lot of
he's worked at
different
several of the parks.
He did Disney World, PhotoPass.
I think he worked at Universal.
He worked at Universal for a little bit, and he worked at Silver Dollar City for a while too.
Okay, yeah.
I forget the dude's name. I know exactly what you're talking about. But
you can picture it. Yeah.
I just have a hard time believing with how much you like photography, and your kids might not be as obsessed with theme parks as we are, but someday they might be, and the characters. I mean, like I was telling Cora, I don't know if you're hearing, like Mason already notices the first thing he does when he gets out of bed in the morning when we lay him down with his toys is go over to Pluto.
Yeah.
And then we just got a McDonald yesterday, and he's all excited about that.
Sir Willow
on YouTube.
On YouTube. SIRWILLOW is
no
the one.
Space.
No space.
Yeah, he's the guy.
He was a Disney PhotoPass photographer. He worked at Universal at some point, at World, and he worked at Silver Dollar City, and he does these cool like confessions of a theme park photographer, confessions of a theme park. So anyways.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And I that is my only thought. It's like we have some really great ones that I've gotten, but I also wonder about the moments we've missed because we were like, my camera's in the backpack,
and you don't want to stop.
You don't want to stop, and how much easier it is to literally walk up, have them scan my Magic Band. You know, it's on the PhotoPass thing, and just have them take 2, 3, 4 pictures, and we go on.
And they get primo spots too.
Yeah, this is true too. Yeah, like I told a story whenever that episode goes up, or whenever this episode goes up, a couple episodes ago, about sitting on the fountain at Muppets and the lady being like, hey, can you move? You know, like, because I was sitting there and I was in their way, and so she was getting the primo shot.
Yeah, and they have priority over all of it because they are employed by Disney.
So they can ask you to do things like move.
Yeah. Things that you wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable asking other people.
Other guests. You're like, hey, excuse me, you're in my background.
Can you not be here?
Yeah. I don't know. Good to know though. I'm glad you did it because I had asked if you had done it, and you're like, yeah, I did it. And I was like, sweet, because I was really contemplating it, and I think at this point it'll probably be more of like, can the budget handle it?
Yeah.
And more than likely it can, and so we'll probably be doing it just to take, if nothing else, to take the pressure off me, because there is it is hard to like
to be the picture taker.
Yeah, and then also to know, like, even handing the camera to my dad or whatever, and having to like remind him, like, okay, the little black box in the middle is the focus point. Make sure that's on somebody's face. I don't care who's, just one of our faces.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, final thought.
Yes. Is yes.
Good.
I would do it again. We will do it again.
Will you pay $169 or 55 or whatever it is?
Yeah, I guess I'd say with the caveat that it doesn't all of a sudden astronomically grow. But
it's not $250 or something.
Yeah, but to me, the fact that it's only maybe $40 more now than it was 7 years ago, I think is a win.
Yeah.
And especially once we're at a point with our kids, if we have, others, another one, whatever, I think we'll definitely do it at some point.
Totally.
Especially because, once again, I'm not the biggest picture taker, and my wife definitely is more than I am, but she's definitely not either. Like, she's going to feel bad whenever we go on vacation that we didn't get enough pictures.
Okay. No, I think I even come back, even with, probably filling a memory card, thinking, like, I could have taken more, or, I missed that moment, or... Even just the cheesy ones, the ones that kind of feel cheesy, of like, stand in front of the castle, everybody take a, but like those are the ones that you might actually print out and frame and look at, and like,
and those are the ones that you skip a lot of times because it's so busy.
Yes,
it's not. I think about, we also have one in front of like Mickey and Walt.
Yeah,
that's always a ton of people there.
Oh, totally.
And you don't want to do it, but they already have a spot,
Yeah, and a lot of times they don't even have as much of a line as the people just standing around trying to get the photo of it.
All right. Anything else to add?
Nope.
Any more questions?
Have you thought about doing it? Because I know you're planning a trip in the future, but
I don't really know.
I mean, it is kind of, that is the one thing I will say. At 169 or 5 or whatever, it's a little on the pricier end.
Depending on how long you're going, because I'm looking at going for at Disney World for 10 days.
See, then that to me is where then the math works out. You're like $16 a day. Yeah, you're like, oh, that's really not that bad.
Yeah. I don't know. I've thought about it. I go to Disneyland way more than Disney World, and I frequent Disneyland so often that I'm like, okay, I've gotten pretty much pictures in front of whatever I want to get a picture in front of. Yeah. If I haven't gotten it yet, I'll do it the next time I go. Mm-hmm. And it's not like I have kids or anything.
And I was going to say, that's probably the big difference is
in the meantime,
the kids grow, and so you have kind of the marker moments of I have the one of my son sitting on my shoulders, and he's 8 months old, and he's wearing his little Mickey ears, and it's great.
Yeah. And I'm single, so it's not like I need to get engagement photos or anything.
You need to get working on this.
Yeah, come on, man.
We're up to me. Might be a different situation.
Oh. We're gonna have therapy the only session after the episode today.
Instead of an after show, just a therapy.
Sit around and contemplate why Cort's still single.
Top 10 reasons why Cort is still single this week.
Good April Fool's Day.
We should.
We'll do it.
If we land on April Fool's sometime, we should.
That'd be great. But I mean, the only time that I really go is when I'm with my friends.
Yeah.
Or my family. And with my family, my sister's super big in photography, so she's doing that. And again, only time that we ever really stop and take pictures or when we're either by a PhotoPass person.
Yeah.
And you just hand her. My sister, she doesn't explore cameras much more than the typical person, I think. She doesn't set it in a manual as often as probably you do.
Yeah, mine's in some play sort with of manual most times.
Yeah. Or she just flips it over to automatic or with just a flip of a switch and then hands it to the PhotoPass photographer, and then that'll be the picture that we do.
Yeah.
But I think she even uses a similar camera to what they use.
Yeah, probably.
'Cause she's a Canon lover.
I think they use Nikons.
Do they?
I think they
do. But they use about the same model layer. If you're,
same
cheap,
tier,
middle, expensive.
Yeah. I've never thought about seriously contemplated it. Going to Disney World now, I might do it now.
And also, I was thinking about it more. It frees me up to then get the ones of the attractions or the castles or the landmarks. Or
you're
this
not
or
so.
That. I'm not having to think I gotta get all the family photos. I can still get those candid moments because those are the things that the PhotoPass people are not going to get.
Yeah.
But the thing that's harder for me to get because I'm doing the other things is the posed group shots all together.
Yeah. Which is what the PhotoPass person gets.
Yeah. And I like the on ride is what really kind of tipped me on the whole even considering it. Was it'd be really cool to have on ride, even just photos, let alone the videos too.
I did have a PhotoPass one time when I went to Disneyland, and it was just all digital stuff. It was after I graduated high school when we went. It was just purely digital, and it did include all the on ride photos.
Did it?
And that was kind of cool because it's a much higher quality on that than what you
trying
can
to
get.
Take a picture of the screen or of yourself,
or even the display of the screen. It looks pretty crappy on the display of a screen. It's super high quality on all the rides, and so it was kind of cool getting those and seeing that. And one of my friends, her friend worked in PhotoPass, so whenever I went to Disneyland or still go, she always tells me, "Okay, take a picture of all your on-ride photos, send them to me, and then I'll get the codes, and then send them to my friend, and then he'll send me all of the on-ride ones." So I get that for free too, right? So.
I don't know if you should be sharing them on the internet, bro.
Yeah. I did just think about, I'm pretty sure another one that has on-ride video is Tower of Terror. I have a pretty good...
They added that recently.
I have a pretty good memory of like us dropping and getting to see like that effect of us dropping, and some people's hats like sitting there for a second before they dropped and stuff. So
okay,
I'm pretty sure that one has on-ride video.
Yeah, and I usually end up putting together a video after our trips too. So it'd be kind of fun to have some of those things that I wouldn't otherwise be able to get, or I'd be trying to do with the GoPro or whatever, and not nearly the quality.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense for me to do it.
No, I agree. It definitely changes it because I have like kids, and so it's as much about capturing my kids at the age that they're at Disney World as it is about. Yeah, I agree. I have plenty of me standing in front of the whatever, or the whatever by itself. Like I have plenty of partners. I have plenty of the castle. I don't need more, but
90% of the time, the only camera that I have is my phone, and so like it's not that hard to hand them your phone and they take the picture.
Which was my other reason to maybe think about getting the new phone. But maybe instead of buying the new phone, I'll just pocket the money I would otherwise have to spend on that. And
spend on that upgrade, and then...
Because I really don't need a new phone by any means. I mean, my 6S isn't that bad.
You're fairly updated on it.
I'm only one model behind at this point, so...
Yeah. Okay. Well,
thanks, Wade, yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad to get the info from you, because it was nice that you'd used it. Because I was like, I don't know, but I'm glad to hear some of the points you made, so definitely considering it. Thank you for listening to the Unmistakably Magic Podcast. Check out our social media. We're at Unmistakably Mag on Twitter, Unmistakably Magic on Instagram, Facebook.com/Unmistakably Magic.
Head over to unmistakablymagic.spreadshirt.com and buy a t-shirt or
show a little support to the show.
Yeah, show some love. Come on.
Email us with questions or comments at unmistakablymagic@gmail.com, or if you have an opinion about the PhotoPass /memory maker. Wow, it's
Memory Maker.
Hey, go over to our YouTube. Just search Unmistakably Magic on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and check out all of our old episodes and our exclusive after show.
Only on YouTube.
Separate videos now. Check it out.
Grand old time.
Go over to iTunes. Search for us there too. Leave us a review. Share it with your friends.
Subscribe.
Download
all the episodes. I don't know.
Yeah. Big thank you to our friend Dylan over at Blast Off Branding. Blanding. For making our awesome look. It is really late now.
It is. Yeah, it's up there.
Check out our friends at the Unmistakably Star Wars Podcast. Those guys are always doing something.
Something new. Something Star Wars.
Any announcements or shout-outs?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Although I am curious if Unmistakably Star Wars is going to talk about D23 at all. They generally stay away from
the Disney side of things. I know, but it's kind of, how do you ignore all that?
And they don't really talk about the theme park aspect of it at all either. So
call us up, guys. We'll holla at you. We'll holla
at you, boy. Well, thanks, Wade, for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
Providing all this useful information.
Yep. We're all a little slap happy, I think.
Hey, I mean...
Does that just about do it?
So much later. Yeah, it definitely just about.
All right. Have a magical week.
Wow. Magical week. See you real soon.